dust heap, a kitchen mop, an old fur coat with a bird on top, a moving mess of unpleasantness. Good grief, what a mess! Eggshells, porridge, fell meringue. Is this Prince Amir up in jam? In toast and ketchup, you'll never guess. Oh no, what a mess! Though he's not a pretty sight, he really tries to do things right. With a mother who's tall and slim, I wonder how she ever thought of him. A short, not scruffy Afghan hound, a more foul creature you've never found. A tangled bundle of bristliness. Good grief, what a mess, what a mess, what a mess, what a mess.
It was winter, and the weather was bitterly cold. The aristocratic and elegant Afghan hound puppy, Prince Amir of Kinjan, known to the world as the fat and scruffy puppy What a Mess, did not like the cold. He spent as much time as he could snoozing on the sofa, wrapped in a tablecloth which he'd pulled off the dining room table, with a drip hanging permanently on the end of his nose. "Wake up," his mother shouted. "You must be the world's snoozer champion. Why can't you be more like your famous grandfather, the champion hunter of all Afghanistan? He didn't snooze all day with a drip on the end of his nose. He was out in the snows hunting snow leopards for the king. And when he wasn't hunting snow leopards, he was standing on a mountaintop guarding the Khyber Pass." Reluctantly, What a Mess went out into the icy cold of the garden. He asked the cat next door whether she would mind if he hunted her, as his grandfather had hunted snow leopards. "Can't," said the cat next door. "I've got to keep tidy. My aunt's coming to tea." "But you're never not tidy. Just a small snow leopard hunt," he pleaded. "To the dustbin and back." "You've got a drip on the end of your nose," said the cat, and walked delicately home.
What do you think you're doing? I'm not fair. I'm trying to do this thing.
What a Mess, feeling colder than ever, decided that if he couldn't hunt snow leopards like his famous grandfather, then he'd better find a mountain top to guard, preferably indoors in the warm. He thought the top of the staircase was probably a bit like the Khyber Pass, so he sat and guarded it proudly. After what seemed like 4 hours of guarding, but was actually 3.5 minutes, the gallant Afghan prince fell asleep. Unfortunately, the man who lived in the house tripped over him and fell down the stairs and sprained his thumb. Of course, everybody shouted at him, which they usually did when he'd done something wrong. "Look at what that puppy's done! What a mess!" they cried. So What a Mess went outside to sulk. "I'm not a puppy anymore, he said to himself. I must be months and months old by now. But how am I going to persuade my mummy and everybody else in the world? How am I going to persuade them to stop calling me what a mess and begin calling me by my real name, Prince Emir of Kinjan? Indeed, it was a huge problem. Then he remembered something his mother had once said to him. You want to be called a prince, do you? She said. Well now, nobody's going to call you prince until you start behaving like a prince. Princes don't hide in the cupboard in terror when the dustmen call. Princes are brave and fearless like your grandfather. What a mess felt cold and miserable. I'll show them, he said fiercely to himself. I'll run away. They'll miss me when I'm not here. Come back, little puppy, they'll cry. Come back, little prince. But I will be gone. Forever. It was a very dark and cold night indeed. The moon was hidden by clouds, and beyond the house was pitch darkness. As he went forth into the black unknown, the prince had to keep reminding himself that princes are brave and fearless. His mummy had said so. After he'd gone what he thought was about 500 miles, he found himself inside what seemed to be a very dark cavern. A forest lair full of wild beasts, he wondered, feeling very young and rather unbrave. He couldn't see his paw in front of his face. Suddenly, something cold and curling wrapped itself around his neck. A snake, he yelped, but the thing wouldn't let go. The puppy bit it hard, but it coiled itself tighter. He plunged and fought and finally struggled free. Straight into the jaws of some big, huge, gigantic animal waiting behind him. He felt its teeth going through his back legs. Then the moon came out from behind the clouds. Now the prince could see exactly where he was. He was not in a wild beast's lair at all. He was in the garden shed. He could see the garden hose that nearly strangled him, and the hay rake with its big wooden teeth pointing towards him. And he could see the house, just a few yards away across the snow, where his mother would be lying asleep in her basket. I think, he thought to himself as he made his way back to his basket and curled up beside his mother, I think I will put off being a prince until a later date. Perhaps next Wednesday. No, that's the day the dustmen call, and I'll be put in the cupboard all day. Perhaps the day after that. No, I can't be a prince then. That's the day I chase the cat next door. Perhaps And exactly 1 2/5 of a second later, he was deep in blissful sleep, dreaming of a small snow leopard without claws and slow on its feet for hunting purposes.
A compost heap, a kitchen mop, an old fur coat with a bird on top, a moving mass of unpleasantness. Good grief, what a mess! Eggshells, porridge, velvet rag. Is this Prince Emir of Kinjan? In toast and ketchup, you'll never guess. Oh no, what a mess! Though he's not a pretty sight, he really tries to do things right. With a mother who's tall and slim, I wonder how she ever thought of him. A short, not scruffy Afghan